This is Block 8, Pax Americana, Section 5, Ike's Cold War, with the section Strategic Air Command. Eisenhower is trying to save the government money. One of the ways that Eisenhower tries to save the government money is by decreasing the amount of conventional forces, and we talked about what conventional military forces are. Guns, planes, tanks, bombs. Eisenhower says, look, we can save money by reducing that and increasing nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are a lot more cheap than conventional weapons. So Eisenhower says we're going to have the same military power, but it's going to be based more on nuclear weapons than it is on conventional ones. And in order to do that, Eisenhower creates what's called the Strategic Air Command. He says what the United States needs is a vast fleet of nuclear bombers that can threaten the Soviet Union with destruction at any time, and that will be how the United States defends it and its interests, through the idea of massive retaliation. That anything that the Soviet Union does that the United States decides is not such a hot idea, the United States has the ability through these nuclear bombers to retaliate in massive fashion against the Soviet Union. And an entirely new bomber is created to do this. This is the B-52. It first flies in 1952. It is still in service today. It is supposed to be in service until 2040. And this is simply a vast airplane. You can get a sense of its size by looking at it and what a fleet of them looks like in flight. This is a serious bomber. It is designed to carry nuclear bombs from the United States deep into Soviet territory where it will drop them. God bless you. At the height of Strategic Air Command, or SAC as it was called, there are literally bombers with nuclear bombs on them in the air at all times. And if ever the Soviet Union moved to attack the United States would not even have to wait to get its bombers in the air. The bombers were already up there and could be directed towards the Soviet Union immediately. And then the bombers became obsolete when the ICBM was invented. By the late 1950s, the B-52s were made a little bit obsolete by the invention of what's known as an Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, or an ICBM. And here is an early American Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. Basically what this bad boy does is it is launched, it flies into space, it moves across the circular turning Earth, and then it plunges back through the atmosphere onto a target in the Soviet Union. By the height of the Cold War in the mid-1960s, the Americans have over 10,000 of these things pointed at the Soviets, and the Soviets have over 10,000 of these things pointed at the Americans. They are topped with nuclear warheads, at first just one, but as nuclear technology gets smaller and more efficient, you could put 20 nuclear bombs at the top of one ICBM that all could be independently targeted. It's called a MIRV, Multiple Re-Entry Vehicle. Basically what that means is you launch a missile and then 20 nuclear bombs come out of it and can go to 20 different places. We have come up with some really amazing ways to kill each other as a human species we have. This begins to define the 1950s as a whole. If the United States is attacked with 10,000 nuclear missiles, the United States is going to be utterly and completely destroyed. And if the Soviet Union is attacked with 10,000 nuclear missiles, the entire Soviet Union is going to be completely destroyed. Why there are so many is because you have to assume that if we are surprise attacked at first, let's say that the Soviet Union launches a surprise attack on the United States and destroys 90% of our missiles. We have to make sure that there's enough missiles that are left so we can destroy the Soviet Union. And if the Soviet Union knows that even if they attack us first, they too will be destroyed, they won't attack us. That's called massive retaliation. And the idea of it is it deters both sides from using their weapons first. If I launch all my weapons at you, but I still end up dead, I won't launch my weapons. This takes the name of an acronym called Mutually Assured Destruction. Mutual, both, assured, be damn sure, destruction. Mutually Assured Destruction with its great acronym, MAD. The world is mad. And it makes perfect logical sense. If I launch first, I still die, which means I won't launch first. And if neither side launches first, both sides can't launch second. That doesn't make logical sense. Therefore, if I'm rational, I won't attack you. Because if I'm rational, I don't want to die. And if I'm rational, and I know that I attack you, but I get destroyed anyway, I won't attack you. I won't launch a first strike. This idea of massive retaliation and mutually assured destruction is what keeps the peace between the Soviet Union and the United States. That for one to attack the other would mean the inevitable destruction of both. And that is massive retaliation. That is mutually assured destruction.